Hello ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining our webinar called How to Build a Low-Cost SAN. My name is Anatoly Vilchinsky, and today we will talk about how enterprise infrastructure should look like and what is the cheapest way to get it. First, let's review today's agenda. First, for those attendees who are new to the iSCSI technology, I will explain what SAN is actually needed for, what applications and software it can be used with. Also, you will see the main difference between using DAS and SAN-based storage infrastructure and why do we need cluster 4. After, I will tell you about the most important points when choosing hardware components for your iSCSI-based storage. Storage and network components actually. CPU and RAM will also be highlighted. After this presentation, we will have a live SAN demonstration of our product and you will see how it works in live environment. After you will see StarWind in action, we will have a question and answer session where I will gladly answer all the questions that you will have. Okay, so on the diagram below you see the application that are using in production system all over the world. VMware, Hyper-V and then hypervisors, databases like Oracle, could be also Microsoft SQL Server, Exchange, etc. Usually when using these applications, the production is online 24/7, 365. So, if you want to use such enterprise features as quick motion, live migration, live teleportation, and many else, you need to have a storage area network in your system. So, here we have some production environment. It can be VMware-based, Hyper-V, Xen, SQL, anything. But, as you can see for this example, I have chosen the Hyper-V. So you have got virtualization host with couple of virtual machines and local hard drives as a storage for it. Everything is okay for now. But what will happen if those hard drives will become unavailable? Nothing's good. No data, no production, everything is simple. So what we need to do now is to install SAN in this infrastructure to avoid such situation. But what will be if whole application server will be broken? Bad situation again here. It is solving pretty easily. Just add second application server and cluster it. I mean cluster both of them. So the only thing is left to bring this production system to enterprise level is to ensure the availability of your storage. That is where enterprise feature of StarWind called HA comes into play. So now you have high availability storage and hypervisor. Other words, your production will be up and running even if you will drop 50% of your system. Now let's talk what you should consider before building your SAN. First thing you need to calculate is an approximate IOPS amount which you should be able to provide. This can be done by a series of measurements in your production environment. Use IOZone or iometer utilities for reviewing the load of your environment produces to avoid under or overestimating the future SAN. So now, let's talk about two main things which are kind of building materials for your future SAN: the storage and the networking. First of all, a storage area network must be isolated from the LAN. Next thing to care of is actual network speed. Depending on the speeds you want to work on, your need to select either 1 gigabit or 10 gigabit networking. Next step is determining actual speed. It's a frequent situation when a gigabit adapter gives only 600 or something like this megabits. The same thing was observed for 10 gig cards. If you want to benefit from any kind of teaming, go for LACP. SLA is not able to deliver any kind of significant improvements to the team performance in a SCSI environment. This means you need to think about LACP cable switch too. I've met many cases where people try to save money by putting in multiple gigabit Ethernet channels instead of considering 10 gigabit Ethernet network upgrade. I know that 10 gig NICs are more expensive comparing to 1 gigabit, but I wouldn't say that they are too expensive. But when the things come to SAN, my recommendation is get at least one 10 gigabit Ethernet card in your SAN and buy at least a mid-range switch with 2 4 10 gigabit ports and the plenty of usual gigabit to feed the client servers. I doubt that this will be insufficient. Let's make a quick calculation. Imagine you want to achieve 4, 6 gigabit Ethernet from your HA-SAN boxes, 2 boxes. Using gigabit, you will have 12 ports busy in each SAN. 6 for client, 6 for synchronization, I mean. And the same 12 ports will be busy in the switch, which need to be capable of teaming those and providing some kinds of good aggregation. These things will cost you a pretty big penny, but if you'll have 3 quad-port NIC in each server, which are, by the way, getting more expensive than their 10 gigabit dual-port relatives. For example, dual-port 10 gig network cards is cheaper than a good gigabit quad-port. You may be asking me, what's up with 10 gigabit cards? 10 gigabit cards are actually will save you money for future upgrades. A 10 gigabit config has the reserve power to scale the gigabit config simply do not have it. So deploying 10 gig networking is a first rational step for further scalability of your SAN. Now let's get down to the disks and the RAID arrays. Our clients' best practices show that the best SAN performance is observed with RAID 1, 6, 10 and 60. We do not restrict our users from using any other RAID type, but you know that it's not our fault that RAID 5 performs slower than RAID 10. Every controller should have a battery protected cache. Hint for those who has observed bad performance with StarWind. With your iSCSI, your data travels a long way, and if your client 4K iSCSI is 64 and then 4K parent volume, not be best idea. 90% show that 64K aligned system show better performance, much better performance. CPU should be able to provide good performance. It is recommended to use Intel Xeon E5620 or equivalent of minimal CPU for StarWind iSCSI and servers. To achieve maximum performance from a storage solution, we recommend you to use the Intel Xeon or equivalent of AMD Opteron CPU. And the last point, RAM. Random access memory, we have actually a requirement for it, 4 gig. 4 gig is the minimal requirement. This is the minimal amount that need to be installed in StarWind server. If implementing StarWind high-speed caching, an appropriate RAM amount should be installed. The cache dedicated RAM amount should be equal or higher than one of reserved iSCSI target caching. Okay, now I'm gonna show you our software in action. For this, let me please share with you my remote desktop connection manager. Okay, so as you can see, this is one of the hosts, I mean StarWind host. And here we go, StarWind management console that you see now. From the left side you can see the hosts of StarWind. It's really easy to add them here. Click add host, enter the IP, click OK. That's it. After double click it, and you will be proposed to enter the password. After you will do it, you're already connected. From the right side, as you can see, there is the targets here. This is device properties, number of iSCSI sessions. There is a lot of sessions. So what I'm gonna show you now is how easy and fast is deploying of highly available storage cluster with StarWind. So choose a host first. After, click Add Target button, enter the name, let it be test. After, choose hard disk drive option, then go to Advanced Virtual, High Availability Device. On this stage, you need to enter the IP address or domain name of the partner server that will be used for this storage cluster. And also you need to enter the username and the password. By the way, defaults are root and StarWind. Here you need to enter the partner target alias. On this step, you should specify where the image file will be stored. The image file that will be using for that will store for our HA device. So the same for the second server. Create new. Let's make it not too big. For max, it will be enough to see that. Okay, after this you need to specify the synchronization interface and the heartbeat interface. Couple of our customers asked me, can they use the separated network interface card for the heartbeat? Yes, it's possible, but it's pretty redundant. Why? Because the heartbeat is just simple ping signal. So, synchronization and heartbeat, how they work? The synchronization is actually, as you may get, this is a data link that is using for the synchronization. So if server 2 will fail for some reason, then it will be back online. This synchronization data link will be used to synchronize data from server 1 to server 2. Everything is automated. StarWind provides automatic follower and failback. And what the heartbeat is? Heartbeat is a simple ping signal, as I told before, that is generating when something wrong with the synchronization channel. Speaking easily, this is just like server 1 seeing that something wrong with the synchronization channel, then it's pinging server 2. So it's asking, hey server 2, are you online, because I don't see you through the synchronization channel. So if everything okay there, because I'm worrying. And server 2 is saying, yeah, you know, I don't see you too through the synchronization channel. I think something wrong with the synchronization. So I have the actual data for about 3 p.m. and you and I have for 3 p.m. 1 minute. So I think that I have most recent data, the most actual data. So you should close all connection, and I'll keep my open to do not corrupt the data. So that is how StarWind providing reliability to the systems. Let's go to the next step. Here it is. Actually, this is a new step since version 5.7. Basically, this is the improvement for performance for 10 gigabit Ethernet. This is how actually our HA became asynchronous. This means that you will have the 4 iSCSI sessions. So 3 iSCSI session can use to write data from server 1 to server 2, and from server 2 to server 1. Basically, this means that you can use both passes to server 1 and to server 2 and to write the data on both of them. Simply saying, this is doubling your performance, so performance twice. That's it. Okay, this step. Here you should specify initialization method. So, since my devices are new, I will choose fourth option, to not synchronize virtual disk. But if you have the image files with the data on them, you should choose first option, clear virtual disk, if you want to clear them. Or if you have only one image file with synchronized data, with actual data, and the second image file is blank or with some data that you don't need, you may choose one of those options depending on the directions that you need. Synchronize partner server with current, or current with partner. But still, I choose fourth option, do not synchronize virtual disks. Caching. I told before about random access memory, and that is why it needed for to use with cache. We always recommend to use write-back cache for our HA device. And we also recommend to have minimum 64 megs for this. Little hint a little bit later. Later is now. A lot of our customers are asking, so do we have some exact calculation on how many cache should I assign to the device, if depending on the capacity of the device, on the size of the device? So no, we don't have exact calculation. Everything is simple. Minimum is 64. So, but if you will give more RAM, if you will assign more RAM to the cache, you will get greater performance. So everything is easy. The more the more cache you have, the more performance you will get. And actually that is what random access memory is needed for here. Okay, so as you could see, we had like 3 or 4 minutes for this with all this explanation, and here you go. We have got already created the highly available storage clustered. Let's wait for a couple of seconds, and here we go. So basically, as you can see, 2 targets are serving for 1 HA device. Okay, if you're using HA, you need to know that you need to have installed the MPIO feature. Yeah, MPIO. After you will connect to the devices using iSCSI initiator, it can be Microsoft or something, any else that you wish. You're connecting it to it, then you go into the MPIO manager, go into the Discover Multipath tab, clicking in this Add Support for SCSI Devices checkbox, clicking Add, clicking OK. The system will ask you to reboot it. You have no choice, you're doing it, and after the reboot you can use our HA device. Everything is simple too. So I have already created the Microsoft cluster, Hyper-V cluster, and as you can see, I have already got the virtual machine here. What am I gonna do now? Well, actually it's simple. Just a second, I'll reset it. Or I can even start the installation from network-based source. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, the process is online. As you can see, we have the Windows Server beta here. I mean the 8th server. Okay, so what am I gonna do now? I'm just simply go to the second machine, go to configuration, services, StarWind, and I'm gonna restart it. And what do we see here? We see that connection here is lost. And guess what? There is no any blue screens here that should be if something will be missed here. As you can see, the process is running. The server is searching for the DHCP server. Then is going. Well, you know, the processes are going. So that is why HA is needed for. That is why HA is needed for. In case if you would use desk storage and there was a failure, all the applications that use the data from the storage will just simply stop. It could be the Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, or anything else. But with StarWind fault tolerance storage, failure of one node will minimize all the downtimes, and you will even have possibility to perform hardware maintenance without pausing your production. Okay, so let's go to our presentation. Okay, so little conclusions now. Reliability. StarWind is providing fault-tolerant storage that can be used with any operation system or application and significantly decrease the downtime for you. Scalability. If your system will require increasing of your storage capacity, it can be performed fast and easily. By the way, StarWind is widely using tier 2 storage. Affordability. StarWind is the most affordable SAN solution with enterprise features on the world market. And a little word about our new product, StarWind Native SAN. It makes your storage environment reliable and highly available, utilizing only 2 Hyper-V servers, while other hardware and software SAN solutions require at least 4 nodes to provide the same level of fault tolerance and redundancy. And now it's time for questions and answers. Okay, there are a couple of questions from Mr. David Saunders. Thank you for your questions, David. I will answer all of them. How real-time is the synchronization? It's really real-time. It's like when you are writing data to both the servers. This, like, let's say it will be package 1 and package 2. You send in package 1 to server 1, package 2 to server 2. They are both coming to their destination servers. And after the package 1 is sent in through the synchronization channel from server 1 to server 2, and server 2 sends using the same channel the package 2 to server 1. So it's real time. It's active storage cluster, not active passive. Also one question, another question from Mr. David Sanders. Does the storage sync work with databases? Yeah, definitely. As I told before, it works with databases, Oracle, SQL Server, everything is tested. There are, I saw it actually with my eyes, that those databases are working in a production environment among all customers. So everything is cool. And also one question from Mr. David Sanders. We use a Firebird database that does not have ASS provider. Can you download a copy of this webinar? This is a little bit different question. Okay, so Firebird, they do not have VSS provider. Well, actually, I'm not really sure what you need for VSS provider for in database, but yeah, you can use the StarWind to provide shared storage for your database. Plus, we have a backup possibility such like a snapshots or the RAID 1, as known as also known as mirror. I wouldn't even say about the HA, where you have the 2 live copies of your data, so one down, one line, everything is cool. Also, Mr. Steve Dupe, or Dupe, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, is asking what is the cost. About all the questions regarding to the cost of our software, I will kindly ask you to send to our sales department. You can see the email on your screen now. It's sales@starwindsoftware.com. If it's needed, I can share this email address in the chat box now. Okay, and about the copy of this webinar, the video is now recording. So yeah, as soon as I will make this video and convert it, it will be on our website, and it will be available to watch and I think even to download. Okay, next question from Mr. Shanmungam Pumalai. Does it support VMware 6 and Citrix Xen Server 2? Yes, definitely. I will say it like that. We're certified with Hyper-V, with VMware, with Citrix. So we passed the test with all of those softwares. Mr. Jack Mate is asking, please clarify on the network card requirements of the host machine and the switch. Okay, the minimal requirement, thank you for your question, by the way, Jack. The minimal requirement for network and Ethernet bandwidth is 1 gig. But we strongly recommend you to use 10 gig Ethernet. It's actually because this will be better for you, not for the StarWind. It will be better for your environment. Because I hope that all your environments will grow during some time, and if you will use 1 gigabit Ethernet card, then you will have to add one more and then more and maybe quad ports, but with 10 gig it's all scalable. So 10 gig is better, I think. It's my personal opinion here. Next question from Mr. Dominic Davis. Can it be run on a virtual machine? Yes, definitely it can be run on a virtual machine. Even more, we have the virtual storage appliance that you can find on our site. We have a virtual storage appliance for Hyper-V and for VMware. Mr. Shanmungaman Pumalai had another question. Does it support clouds option? It can be used like a storage for the software that is providing cloud cloud options, thing with your words, like VM Cloud. So yeah, definitely can use for cloud. Mr. Johan Hellstrom, can install one hardware with StarWind, start up with one Hyper-V host, and then afterwards connect the other hardware with StarWind to get a high availability cluster? Yes, it's definitely possible. In current version, you can do it like next. You should to create basic image file target, specify in the wizard header size value 65536, and then this image file will be compatible with the chain in the future. If you want to hear it one more time or more details, please email me. You can see my email on your screen now. Mr. George Winston is asking, can you confirm that Active SAN can install on Microsoft Hyper-V Server 2008 R2 or non-server or on Server 2008 R2 Core? Yes, I'm confirming it for sure. It can be done. Even more, we recommend those operation systems. But by the way, about Core Edition, you should install a StarWind service on the core, and the StarWind Management Console can be installed on any other machine with operation system starting from the XP. Mr. Steve McGee, do you can the control data channels use encryption? Not sure what you're talking about. We have the IPsec, IP security technology, if you know what it is. If not, please email me and I'll answer all your questions regarding to this. Mr. Prince Wilster is asking where we can get a demo version for testing purposes. On our website, the trial is really easy to get. You should to register on our site, starwindsoftware.com. Then you will see the banner there. Click on the banner, and you will be get to the page where you will be proposed to download our trial version, or you can contact our sales as usual. They will provide you with our software and with trial license too. sales@starwindsoftware.com. Next question from Mr. John Mack. Can this webinar be downloaded to view on demand? Well, as I told before, yes. As soon as it will be available on our site, it will be available to view and download. Mr. Kevin Norman is asking, can it work over fiber channel? No, definitely no. StarWind is iSCSI SAN software, not fiber channel. Mr. Pavel Negabityan, if I'm not mistaken, is asking in Russian. Let me please translate it to you. Will you have the appliance for Zen server? I'm assuming that you mean virtual storage appliance, and actually I'm really not sure that we'll have the VSA for Zen server. Unfortunately, yes, I know, unfortunately. But actually, that's all I can say about it. Well, okay, thank you for your question, Pavel. Mr. George Winson is asking, can you briefly discuss options for performance backup of cluster for disaster recovery or data archival requirements? I will be using two HP models, Server 2008 R2, data center. Oh, sorry, it was another question. So, can you briefly discuss options for performing backups of cluster for disaster recovery of data archival requirements? That was a question from Mr. George Winson. Thank you for the question, George. Briefly, if you want to discuss disaster recovery plan, well, with HA you shouldn't have any, because our slogan is forget about disaster recovery, think about disaster avoidance, and that is why you need HA for. But if you want to take a snapshots of your image files, it's not a problem. You can see that StarWind is supporting snapshots. Also, we have the mirroring feature. Also, if you want to backup to tapes, StarWind can provide you with virtual tape library plugin. And if you want to share your physical tapes, it's also available with our SPTI option. Mr. Johan Hellstrom, I'm sorry again, is asking, I will be using 2 HPs with Server 2008 R2 data center in our StarWind SAN. Should I install these two machines in a domain with Active Directory or as their own workgroup? Well, StarWind doesn't require to be in a domain. This is a requirement for Microsoft clusters, as you know. I think this is the answer for your question. Mr. J.M. Masso Ruiz is asking, please, are there any link for resources such as guides and implementation tests? Yes, definitely. You can find all of our documentation in documentation section. Just a second, I will share the link to it in a couple of seconds with all of you. Well, if it's needed, of course. Okay. Just a second. Here we go. Central. You all have all those links. Okay, Mr. Shamungam Pumalai is asking, do we get a case study, any real-time examples? Oh, we have a couple of case studies. Please search it on our website. Can it work on FCOE, fiber channel over Ethernet? I wouldn't bet on it, really. Okay, next. Mr. Tim Evans, does the support off-site replication? Yeah, definitely. Okay, whoa, that was all the questions I can see. Maybe you have got some other questions that you haven't any chance to type for now. I'll wait for a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, I will tell you about what's upcoming in 5.8, little tips and little hints. Actually, really interesting stuff will be here. We will have the stack of plugins, so you'll have the possibility to use HA bundled with duplication, bundled with snapshots, bundled with the replication to third node. Good for start, huh? Okay, Mr. John Hellstrom is asking, how do you do offline replication in a short explanation? Johan, I'm sorry, I think I misunderstood you for the first time. You mean offline, it should be scheduled. You know what, I will kindly ask you to write me to my email. I will share my email with you in a chat. Yeah, you have got it now, and we'll discuss this. Okay, Mr. Dominic Davis, you do not have a VSA for Zen server. No, we don't. Only for VMware ESX and the Hyper-V. Okay, so I took something like 15 minutes of your time today. I'm really glad that I could see all of you here. I hope this webinar was really useful for you. It was my pleasure to tell about StarWind for all of you. And I want to say thank you one more time and to wish you a good day. Goodbye, everyone.